Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Happy Monday. I am Yana Kasperczak, your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach. And it has been my soul's purpose to help women, to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison you find yourself in and build a life, business, and or career that you are obsessed with. And one of the ways that I help women do that is on Mondays, I do a card reading in this Facebook group, Heal the Unicorn: Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women, that I allow a voice to speak through me, so to speak, through these cards and guide us on this spiritual journey and path that is so unique and so different for each and every one of us that we simply can't even compare what you're going through, what I'm going through. Yes, there are similarities. Yes, we have the same tools that can help us, the same knowledge and wisdom and tools that can help us work through our programming, the default program that we have, to rewrite it and decode it and recode it in the way that we want it. But it's going to sit differently with everyone. For some, it might happen like that. For others, it might take a little bit more time and work and effort. All of us, we resonate with different messages, with different animals. And the reason, honestly, why I decided to do this deck today is because one of the women in this community that I know of, and there might be more than that, than just that one, is getting really close to losing one of her pets that lives with her mom in a different part of the world, but nonetheless, it's still her cat, and she loved that cat very dearly. And I know how painful it is, how challenging it is to say goodbye to your fur baby. We had to say goodbye to our fur baby last year in March, and it was very, very hard. It was one of the hardest things I've gone through, and I know that prepares me for more hard things in life, because life is full of hard things and full of easy and fun things as well. But we remember the hard, because those are the ones that shape us in ways that makes each and every one of us different and unique. It's not the fun and easy things, it's the hard things that really shape us, that really help us to grow and evolve into someone we didn't even think was possible. So when we start doing this inner work on healing ourselves, because some of you are already doing this inner work in our imposter banishing quest, so you know what I'm talking about, you know what that's like. And some of you have been through the 21-day challenge, to inner peace, so you know what it's like. That when you really start healing yourself and uncovering these things that make up your default program that you're running on 95% of your day, when you start to understand, you start to rewrite it and deprogram yourself and reprogram yourself, you see what it's like on the other side. And then some of you have done one of those programs and stopped there and haven't revisited. And I've been where you are as well, where I've gone through a program and I thought, that's it, that's good, I am perfect, I'm fixed, because I felt good and I felt like myself for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. But then before you know it, you're back there where you used to be. And I found myself struggling even more, because there's more guilt, more shame, and this message of you never finish anything you start that I had, where I started healing myself. I started working on myself and becoming the best version of myself. And I didn't finish it. I stopped it because I thought this program, oh, that's it. This is all that I needed. Now I'm good and I'm fixed, figure, so to speak. And only to recognize that there's so much more to do. I just scratched the surface. And so then the journey continued after I beat myself up enough and got over that internal struggle, over that pain, and said, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go after the best version of myself. That's what I'm gonna chase. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't care what anybody else is thinking. Yes, I do, but I'm gonna care less. It's not, the goal is not to not care at all. It's just to care less about what everybody else is doing, to care less about what everybody else is thinking or saying, especially when it comes to me, because it's really exhausting to make all of those things my business. It becomes more than a full-time job and it becomes so draining. So therefore, I decided I was gonna quit that job and maybe just do it quote unquote part-time once in the blue moon, where I recognize that I'm triggered by something external, whether it's going back to one of those messages that is rooted in me caring about what people say or think about me, how I might come across, how I might appear, and how I might be interpreted, how there's some people that might not like me, and actually the truth is they don't like me, and reminding myself the truth and the reality, and stop trying to live in a fantasy world. And because the fantasy world is that everybody loves me and everybody adores me and everybody gets me and everybody understands me, but that ain't the truth, is it? No matter how much you want it, it is just not the truth. Nor would really want it to be. Just imagine keeping up with all of those people. Imagine all 8 billion people, however billion people we have in the world, that love and admire you and want to talk to you, and you got to keep up with all of them. Now, that's beyond a full-time job. There needs to be some different label for that kind of a job. You keeping up with every single human being throughout the 24 hour in a day, because 12 o'clock, what is it? 12 o'clock here, 12 p.m. Eastern time here in Ontario. On the other side of the world, it's 12 a.m. You want to keep up? No, you don't want to be loved and admired and be friends with every single person. Not just for that reason, but because there's a lot to it. I think we've already had this card, Whale, a while back. But let's get into the Whale card. I am pretty sure it's a big one, quite literally. A big card. Oh, there we go. I just saw the whale. Speaking of the whale, before I forgets it, one of the things I decided I was going to be doing is I'm going to be writing the number of the pages. Let me pick a pretty color. Number of the pages on these cards when I read them, so I know what page it is at, and I also know that we've read it. Okay, so I haven't done it for this card, which means that if we read it, it's been a while since we have. Hey Katie, how are you doing, beautiful? Katie says happy Monday to you as well. Hopefully it's a warm one, not so much like it is here. Rebecca says, hi there, congrats on 1K. Oh, thank you very much. Hi, Rebecca. The 1K group members and Heal the Unicorn Emotional Healing Spiritual Growth for Women. Thank you very much. It has been a goal of ours for some time. And now we're here. Initially, we were like, oh, we want 100 people. And then from 100 people, I'm like, nah, 500 people. I like number 5, so it was 555 people. But you don't celebrate the odd numbers. But then again, Why not? Who said you can't celebrate the odd numbers, right? So maybe the next goal will be 1,111 members. And then we'll have to really keep our eye on that exact number to celebrate it. We're meant to be odd. We're not meant to be copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. This is not a cookie cutter world. And the fact that we're all trying to fit into this cookie cutter mold of a woman that you're supposed to be, that you should be, this is why you find yourself broken. This is why you find yourself hurting. This is why you're suffering. Because you're trying to be someone you're not supposed to be. Someone who you're not meant to be. And the truth is, the scary, painful truth is that you don't even know where to begin to figure out who you are and why you are and what you want to do, your purpose, what drives you, what fulfills you. All of those things. They're buried deep within. So, let's talk about the whale in the room, shall we? So the whale says, desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. I definitely remember reading this one. I wonder when we read this one, because I don't think the numbers disappeared. I don't think I actually read that one. Sorry, I know I read this one, but I didn't write the number on this one. So, the whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. You have been through many shitstorms. You have been through hurricanes, whether physical or metaphorical hurricanes. You have been through a lot in your life. And you have been through things in your life that you didn't think you could survive, that you could get through. Can you at least think of one of those examples, those experiences that you didn't think you could survive, that you thought this was it, this was the end, this is how I'm going to go. I can't do this, I can't put up with this anymore. But yet, you got through it. And better yet, you became stronger, wiser, more cautious because of that. And unconsciously, you created a lot of blocks within yourself as well. But that's where the work on your inner self comes in handy and highly recommended. Through the two options that I mentioned earlier, some of you have gone through them or are going through them. Like I said, the 21-day challenge, the inner peace journey to reduce your stress in your life and anxiety. And then the imposter banishing quest, when you really start to understand yourself and your stories, you gain so much knowledge and wisdom. But if you are not dealing with some of those really challenging times that you've been through, and you're just getting through the day or just surviving, because it does feel like you're just surviving. For me, there's been many of those. The hardest one was losing the twins, the 5-month pregnancy that we had. Even though it's that I was pregnant, but we are the ones that were pregnant, my husband and I. So losing the twins, I thought that was it. You know, what's the point? Why do I keep doing this? I'm not going to be able to conceive. I'm not going to be able to carry a baby to term and have a child because, I'm a shitty person, and finding all these little things that I've done throughout my life that made me feel like I was a bad person when they weren't bad things at all. It's just the mind finds fault in itself, in yourself, and blames yourself. And then there's uh, other people. What they do is they blame the external world, saying, "Oh, um, it was my job circumstances, or it was the doctor's fault, or it was this, or it was that." For me, it was all my fault. I'm blaming myself, and I didn't think I could get through that. Then having our daughter, she was born a month early, and the fact that she was born a month early, I of course then blame myself as well. But I saw the silver lining to the fact that I carried a child to term, which means I could do it, just not all the way to term, a month early. And of course, my experience with losing the twins and all the messages that now became my default program, the fears, the worries that most parents have, to me was an everyday thing because I've already lost kids. And now this one was not inside of me, so it felt safer being outside. And yet the world is full of dangerous things, right? So the whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traveling difficult terrain, which means as a whale, you have gone through a lot of shitstorms, and you've learned and continue to learn. Just because you've learned and you're good at expressing yourself does not mean you can't do better. That does not mean you can't learn more. It means you actually can. And that's where the wisdom comes in, where you're wise enough and you know that you are great at expressing yourself emotionally, but you can get even better. And even better and better and better each and every time you learn and practice new tools and skills of expressing yourself. And you've traveled through a lot of difficult terrains, through a lot of difficult times, and you know there's going to be more difficult ones, and all of them have been preparing you for the future, so that way you can express yourself emotionally in better and healthier ways, and overcome all of those challenges and come on top of them and become a better, stronger person and a wiser person, and use all your knowledge and wisdom that you have gained throughout your life as now and continue going. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, the whale, strength, and a depth that is rare. So all that you have been through has enriched you and your life. The only way to really understand what true love is, you gotta experience the opposite. And everything else is the opposite of love. Sadness, grief, even overwhelm, loss, even depression, all of those things are, in many ways, they're the opposite of love. They remind you what love is, and you want that, where the happiness, joy, feeling free, that's love. And we don't understand what it is until we understand the opposite, the yin and yang. We don't know what we want until we experience the things that we don't want. So we can learn and really understand what that's like to have those things that we don't want, to live through the things that we don't want, to then know what you want and why you want it. How else are you supposed to get the why? Why is what drives everything. Why is the intention behind everything that you do and don't do as well. So these experiences, everything that you have been through, has enriched your life and has enriched you, have given you clarity, have given you stability, has given you strength and depth to you as a human being that is rare, that no one else has. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. So you're probably practicing more compassion. You're probably more compassionate to others than to yourself. And this is where practicing more compassion towards yourself, not taking it away from others, still be as compassionate, maybe even more compassionate to other people in your life. But turn that compassion inward towards yourself and practice compassion with yourself, for yourself, especially during the tough, challenging times. And continue communicating. Communication is key. Communication is how you heal. Because if you're holding on to hurt, to pain, to your traumas, to your past experiences that really have done a number on you and some serious damage, if you keep it inside and not communicating it outwardly, you're it it's similar to you carrying poison and holding on to poison. And not doing anything about it. So you got to get that poison out through communication, through talking, through expressing with sometimes with those who are open to listening and hearing. And most importantly, with those who are there helping you see yourself through that experience and help you to let go of it so it no longer has a hold on you as it once did, and heal from it, learn from it, and uncover what are you going to do about it. Meaning, like, where is this experience going to be taking you? What are you going to do with that experience, with that knowledge? Because there's always something in there, right? So we can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost, and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. Who's that whale in your life that you can depend on, that you can rely on, that can be that beacon, that one maybe glimmer of light or glimmer of hope in your life during your darkest, hardest hour? Which that hour, let's be honest, doesn't feel like an hour. It feels like a lifetime. It feels like a lifetime prison sentence, doesn't it? You want to have those people close. You want to make sure that they are part of your support system. Everyone needs a healthy support system. It makes all the difference in the world. Knowing who to go to with this problem, this challenge, this challenging time of your life, and having the right tools that you can acquire that you have already acquired throughout your life, but you can acquire throughout or from those people who are part of your support fortress. Now, the whale. When in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy, slips into old story. So this is where you'd feel stuck, tired, overwhelmed, irritated, annoyed, frustrated, short-tempered. Your blocks come back up, where those messages that you carry of, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not wise enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I can't do this, I won't do this, and just to name a few. This is when you know you, as a whale, is out of balance. To bring to balance regular self-care, meaning You've probably fallen off the wagon. Let's be honest. This is part of life. We all have great habits and great intentions. And yet, before we know it, you take one day off, you take 2 days off for whatever reason. And now you can't even remember the last time you did your self-care. It can help to understand why, what got in the way. It definitely can. So ask yourself, why? Why did you stop? What got in the way? What took your focus and attention from yourself onto itself? What was it? Did it benefit you? Or a better question is, how did it benefit you? Because if there was no benefit, you wouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't be shifting your focus from yourself and your self-care onto something else. So there's a benefit in there. And if there wasn't a benefit at all, perhaps you were manipulated and coerced into doing something that you didn't want to do. But that's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different conversation to understand what is happening and why it continues to happen. Because then it goes into boundaries and whatnots and deeper dive into that. So self-care is how you get yourself into balance. And if you haven't done it for a while, go do it. Now, when it comes to self-care, the list can be unlimited. Unlimited. So I would love to hear from each and every one of you. You can be honest with yourself. You don't have to share it down here. But if something got in the way, what got in the way? And if you stopped self-care, right? But really what I want to hear is your self-care practices. What is it that you do that you consider to be self-care that helps you to feel like yourself, helps you to feel like a human, helps you to feel good or recharged or re-energized or remotivated, inspired, or maybe even calm, cool, and collected, helps you to feel and see things much more clearly, helps you to quiet down those voices in your head, those outdated systems, those messages that are beyond outdated. So what is it that helps you to take care of you? Part of it can also be self-love, because self-love is an internal thing where usually it's the things that you will be saying to yourself and how you'll be thinking to yourself about yourself. But self-care, how do you do self-care? Hey, Allison. Allison says a relaxing hot bath. Yes, that is a really, really good one. That's one of my favorite things as well. I used to take really hot baths, and then I noticed that I would get out of the hot bath and I would feel cooked. And like really, really, really relaxed and chilled. So that was the goal, to be really, really, really relaxed and chilled. So I would take a hot bath. Otherwise, a warm or a cool bath as well. Rebecca says, recently started creating the boundaries with my babies, little ones. Said when mommy is upstairs, mommy's taking care of herself. And you need to let me take care of myself and wait nicely. Beautiful, right? Like this one here wants some love this morning. That's a beautiful way to set a boundary with our kids as well, and show them that mommy is also important and mommy needs to take care of herself so she can be more available to take care of each and every one of you. And by doing that, you're also teaching your kids to do the same thing when they themselves have kids. One thing that most of us are not taught is that we become our parents. Meaning that how we show up today, if we pause for a minute, two, or for an hour and think about, is this how I want my kid to be when I grow up? When they grow up, sorry, not when I grow up, because we never stop growing up. We continue to grow up. But is this how I want my kid to be when they grow up? If the answer is no, well, how would I want my kid to be when they grow up? How do I want them to communicate with their kids, with their partner? And if you want them to be a different person than you are today, that means you gotta be that person for them tomorrow, so they can be that person when they grow up, as an adult, as a parent, and they'll talk to their kids in the way that you talk to them now. They'll spend their family time in the ways that you spend family time now. And of course, no matter how great and amazing you are, your kids still will see opportunities in those experiences and do things their own ways. And in some cases, they might do things that you, growing up, always wanted or heard your parents talking about doing every day, but never really got a chance to do that. And now, as an adult, you might actually be the person that takes those steps to make sure that you're doing that. An example might be, if you heard your parents talking about, we want to have family dinners every single night, and never had them, that you now as an adult with a family, you might be replaying that same message, saying, oh, I wish we could, and never doing it. Or you take charge and you say, we're having family dinners every night. I don't give a shit what you say. Don't like it? Too bad, so sad. You're gonna you're gonna park your butt in that chair. You're gonna park your butt in this chair. We're sitting down and we're having a dinner together. No whining, crying, bitching, none of that. Right? Obviously not saying it like that, but I mean, why not? Why not say it like that? It might work just as well. So we become our parents, but we become our parents in a better version. What we see as a better version of our parents. And there you go. Kimberly says, a bath sounds amazing. Oh, definitely it does. Now I'm like, oh, I want to go take a bath. But then I'm going to cook myself and I'm going to be resting for the rest of the day. Also, baths dehydrate us. That's why when they're hot. So I'll bring some lemon water with some pink Himalayan salt in it to keep me hydrated. And then Rebecca says, not easy not to feel mom guilt. I know. No is a good example to show it's important to prioritize self-care. You know what? That's a great reminder that we're supposed to feel mom guilt, because society dictates what is a good mom and what's a bad mom. And it has a ridiculously unrealistic expectations of what a good mom is. The best way how I would describe a good mom, what society would consider a good mom, is the one that has absolutely zero time left for herself, because she's constantly cooking, cleaning, sewing clothes, decorating, organizing, decluttering, driving her kids from one class to another, and taking care of everyone, and washing and scrubbing and meal prepping and cooking and snacks and dinners and lunches, and constantly doing and giving. That's what the standard is of a good mom. A freaking superhero that doesn't even sleep. It's like a vampire, right? Vampires don't sleep. I'm pretty sure all of us can agree on that. As if they exist, right? But if vampires existed, this would be pretty much what would be expected of a mother, that you don't sleep. You gotta read bedtime stories as well. You gotta keep popping out those kids and taking care of them and making sure that they know everything there is to know about it, making sure that you are helping them to chase their dreams, their goals, and their everything. Just saying all of that was exhausting. So that's the expectations of a mom. Why would you not feel guilty when you carve out 5, 10, 30, 60 minutes out of a day for yourself? That would be a definition of a bad mom if you didn't feel guilty. So the fact that you do feel guilty, that means you're a good mom. That means that you understand all those expectations. Part of you also understands how unrealistic and ridiculous they all are. And you're trying to navigate and be the best mom you can be based on this invisible book of expectations of a good mom that you have received throughout your life. That is, once again, unrealistic. And you're trying to do your best to do it all and fit yourself on that schedule, which the book doesn't come with any space for you. So, of course, you're going to feel guilty. Of course, you're going to have all these voices screaming at you of, you're not good. You're not good enough. You're not a good mom because you're selfish. But you know that when you take care of yourself, you can give so much more. Even the food you make tastes better than from you, the rundown version of yourself. When you make food and all you want to do is go and scream in the pillow or punch the pillow. This weekend I make our bed every single day, and this weekend my husband sees how I'm making the bed every day. So my pillow has these, it's like a memory foam, so it has like memory foam chunks in it. So when I sleep, it kind of squishes to its side and you can see where I was sleeping. So what I do every morning is I call it fluffing it up. But my husband is watching me fluff this pillow up and he's like, oh, no, man, no wonder you're so positive and why you're making the bed and you're so positive throughout the days, because you take your anger out on this pillow and you release all that anger out. Because I'm like smacking it, punching it, and putting it all together and making it now nice and fluffy, right? That's his interpretation of what he's seeing me do. Now, for me, that's not it, right? And for me, I am fluffing it up and I'm taking care of myself. This is one of my self-care practices, by the way, that I'm, cleansing the pillow and shaping it so that way I don't have to do that before I go to bed, and essentially expelling the demons out of the pillow and cleansing the pillow and the space. So it's a positive place to be. Whereas my husband, he's like, oh, you're getting your anger out. Well, maybe, I guess, unconsciously. And it works. So if you gotta go and beat a pillow, fluff a pillow up, whatever you want to call it, do that. Do that every morning. My self-care, that I would consider self-care: card reading, 1. Making myself a coffee, another. Lemon water, another. Lemon water with salt is another. Once in a while, tea. I would like to drink more tea, but honestly, I've just been sticking to my 1 coffee a day and lemon water. Another practice is making the bed every day. Before, my goal is always to make the bed before I start my workday, which means some days I start my workday at 9 a.m. And then part of that is get dressed, get ready, put a little bit of pretty things on my eyes, as you guys can see, just whatever makes me feel good about me, doing my hair, right? However I decide to do my hair each day. I like my jewelry, so I'll put my earrings. I didn't get my rings on this morning, and I'm feeling a little naked, to be quite honest, with my fingers, with my hands. It's just what makes me feel good, and this is part of my self-care. Sometimes I'll add bracelets to this wrist. These ones I always have on. Um, Preparing for the day, going through my plan for the week, and gaining more clarity of what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to do tomorrow. Another self care is hopping on a call with my business partner, Anna, and going over the plan of what we're going to be doing for the week or for the month or soon for the year. And then from that whole bird's eye view plan, what are we doing? What are you? What am I? What are we doing together today, this week, next week, and so on and so forth. Also, feeding my animals. I love that because it's especially with the kitten. You know, when we get new things, it's so cute and fun and adorable, and especially when they love certain foods. So preparing some meats for the animals and giving them the food in the morning, just watching him eat as I sip on my coffee. Listening to some podcasts is another self-care. Bath is definitely a great one. Sometimes it's a shower because I just feel like I just need a rinse, and a rinse in different ways. Just rinse and cleanse myself, and then get out, or rinse in the way of feeling the water cleanse and purify me. So it becomes like a visual meditation where I visualize pure white light. It's almost like just seeing the sun, and the sun scanning me and bringing all the crap and darkness out of me and rinsing it off with the water. Um, Going for a walk or a hike or just sitting outside or picking up dog shit in the backyard. Yes. um, what else? This self-care. I used to do my nails, but after I had some nail damage from basically, the best way to describe it is the chemical reaction that happens where you're using those gel nail polishes and you put it under the UV light. It's a chemical reaction. So a chemical reaction did a number on my thumbs last year. So since then, I'm like, you know what? I don't really care to paint my nails. I'll keep them as they are. They're already long and pretty as they are, and they're really, really hard. So I don't want to damage them. I want to keep them as they are. Um, so my self-care with my nails is just cleaning up the cuticles and anything underneath my nails. Um, oh, another self-care. Like just think of some even like odd ones or interesting ones. Sometimes my self-care is drinking my coffee, watching Netflix, and I'll sit with a pair of scissors and I go through my hair little by little, and any split ends, I just chop them up. Cut off this little split ends, and that's it. That's me kind of giving myself a haircut. So I'll do that. Sometimes actually it is giving myself a haircut. I used to go to a hair salon, but honestly, I really don't see a need for it because there's no specific hairstyle or anything that I really care for or color. My grays are starting to come in. They're not visible. There's not that many, but letting them be. Um, Cleansing, rinse. Oh, Kimberly says cleansing, rinse, love that. Yeah, cleansing, rinse, straightforward, right? And then Kimberly says, I don't use gel or any. I use a special polish only for weddings. Yeah, there's also not natural ones, like supernatural ones. For me, honestly, right now, I don't really have a need or care for it. One day I might go back to painting my nails, however I do, but I've learned that nails need to breathe. Even though we might think that they don't, they do need to breathe. So I don't want any part of me suffocating. And I don't want my nails to suffocate because I speak with my hands all the time. And I experienced a lot of heavy judgment that really helped me to uncover more of my blocks when I was dealing with my thumbs and I was just hiding my thumbs as much as I could. So I really don't want to experience that. So it's easily avoidable, right? We all have things in our life that we've learned that we don't want to experience those things, and we don't have to. The choice is ours. Debbie says tending to plants. Yes, that's a great one as well. I love that's one of my self-care practices as well. Tending to plants. Wintertime, not so much so. Inside, yes. Outside, I mean, everything is covered in snow and frozen, so there's no tending to that. Decluttering and organizing. Like, I know for some of you, you'd be like, oh, yeah, come to my house and do this. But for me, this is like such a self-care practice for me that sometimes when I even think about it, of how much I love it, is that it brings tears to my eyes because I know how amazing I feel during and especially after it's done. There's a little bit of sadness after it's done because I'm like, oh, that's it, I'm done. I didn't want it to be over because I was really loving and enjoying the process. But I love decluttering and organizing spaces. I love refinishing, um, like renovating or refinishing like furniture or little pieces like DIY crafting. Debbie says, yeah, crafts, arts and crafts. Sometimes it's coloring as well. I don't draw, um, probably mostly because it's not my thing and not good at drawing. But once in the blue moon, I might paint. So it's a different form of drawing, just using a brush. Brain dumping, amazing self care practice. Amazing. It just means when I'm feeling off, and meaning that I don't really feel like my full self, I just jot things down, get them out of my head, everything and anything. And in there, I can see the messages that I am still carrying that are blocking me, preventing me from reaching my full unlimited potential. I see to-do list, I see expectations list, I see other people's to-dos that have been dumped on me, and then I'm like, oh, how did that happen? Send it back to them and let them know you're doing that. Um, what else? I mean, who doesn't love shopping? I mean, it's a great self-care as well. Shopping. Just let's not get it past the unhealthy shopping. But shopping is another one. Going through a course or a program is another amazing self-care that I love. And listening to podcasts. And of course, taking notes throughout all of these things as well. What else? Oh, burning. Doing the sacred circle. And whether it's on Tuesdays with all of you who attend or just myself, it I love it. Even just burning a candle and looking through a candle or having conversation um with my family, as I refer to it. So all of my ancestors, loved ones that passed away, whether they were humans or animals or creatures, right? And spirit guides, guardian angels, all of the beings that are there for me to help me through life itself. I refer to them as family or the universe, right? So connecting with the part of myself that is not visible to anyone. Yeah. And just let me see if there's any weird and odd ones. Reading a book here and there. I'm more of a listener. I prefer to listen to books instead of reading them. But once in a while, I'll read a book, especially. Oh, another amazing self-care is this is self-care and boundaries at the same time. Having times and or days where I'm not on social media, where I'm not even responding to messages because I need to take care of me and refill and recharge myself, refill my cup and recharge myself so that way I can continue giving and giving and giving. So in the evenings I often put my phone away and I don't respond and I don't interact with anyone, and not watching or anything on the phone, even going to the bathroom with no phone, even go for a walk with no phone, going for a drive with no phone, leaving my connection to the whole entire world elsewhere and not bringing it with me everywhere I go. So when I go to the bathroom with no phone, we all get bored, especially if it takes a while. That's why I got books there, and I can pick up a book and I can read where I left off. Debbie says, cuddling our humans and pets. Ooh, definitely love that one. This one is cuddling with me still. And my dog, every time I make eye contact or get down to her level, she's right there. So I cuddle with her. And then Beerus, the kitten, Lord Beerus, he likes to come and cuddle as well. He likes to even push his face into my hand to scratch himself. But because he's young, he likes to play a lot more. So he'll hang out for a little bit and then he's off to the races. Yeah, burning sage is another one. Honestly, planning for the future is definitely another one as well. So those are the ones that I would share that are coming to mind for me right now. I know there's a lot more, but for now, I feel like that's more than enough because we can spend hours here sharing all these different things that we consider self-care. And hey, Laura, how are you doing? Beautiful. Laura says, paradox of boundaries. It's up to us to establish them, whatever they may be. If no one showed us how to establish boundaries in a loving but powerful way. Yeah, boundaries are very important, and people teach us how to not have boundaries in place because it doesn't benefit them. But we gotta learn what boundaries need to be put in place, and more often than not, it's going to be after the boundary has been crossed. And it's normal to feel guilt and shame and even embarrassment, just to name a few emotions that might come up when you're setting or resetting a boundary because you didn't even know it needed to be there, right? Part of us, in some ways or others, almost like assumes or expects people in our life to know what our boundaries are without us having to set them. And yet, that's not how it works, and we all know that. And listening to music, Debbie says, absolutely. Yeah, music is definitely one of my favorites as well, and it's a powerful healer. And then Laura says, sorry for dropping in and out. I'm having a bit of boundary issue, ironically, trying to break for lunch and meeting with a battle of wills. Still, we pick our hills to die on, and today I gotta run, y'all. Have a blessed day. Well, thank you for being on here. Thank you for sharing that. This is how we also identify that there is a boundary. When I worked at the bank, I would go to my lunch, and it seemed to be the time that it's almost like all hell breaks loose, and Yana, we need you, Yana, we need you. And there's been times where, many times actually, where I didn't even get to have a full entire lunch because I had to go back to work and help out, or even serve customers, or because I was managing all the cash in the branch as well, the bank, or they needed something, or a customer came in to pick up the money and nobody's communicating with each other. So yeah, um, it's challenging when you're working. And there's even times where I was working in a different location when it was practically just me on um, on cash as a teller or as a cashier, whatever it is called, where you are. And I didn't even have a lunch at all. I would just eat at my uh, at my wicket, it was called. Interesting. It's like thinking back of all these different names for things in life, called at your wicket, where your place where you have your computer and you have your drawer with the cash. And yeah. Interesting. Anyways, so that's all I wanted to share with each and every one of you. Hope this reading was a great one, talking about a whale. And if you are feeling all whaled out, meaning that you're out of balance, do these self-cares that are for you, whatever it is for you. Maybe you spend too much time indulging in one self-care and avoiding ignoring the other ones. So maybe it's time to tap into those ones. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Hope you have an amazing the rest of your day. Happy Monday once again. I'll see some of you in tomorrow's Sacred Circle that I'm going to be hosting and do meditation on the burn ceremony. And then the rest of you, maybe I'll see next week for another one of these weekly card readings that I do on Mondays at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time-ish in this group. And the rest of you I'll see throughout the week, however we see each other or chat. And until next time, bye everybody. Thank you everybody. And welcome to all the new members, by the way. There's a whole 1,000 of us now in here. So bye everybody.